recanted and spent the rest of his life under house arrest. Miguel has never been to prison, though he has spent a month in juvenile detention. But juvie was a little more like what he imagined summer camp to be. Bunk beds, sports, 3 meals a day, except for the razor wire. It was a year ago when he'd gotten caught with a gang of his pals playing chicken on the highway, and next thing he knew, the cops were rounding them up. His father, who lives down the road, thought it might be good for him to spend some time straightening out, and his mother didn't argue. He'd shared a room with 3 other boys, and they all had lice. The room had a small window, and the only pleasure he'd gotten that entire month was staring at the night sky. Since getting out, it seems as if that's all he wants to do. As his father likes to say, there are worse things to be hooked on. Miguel stumbles again, almost toppling over as he makes a fine adjustment to his scope. But then he often stumbles. His feet don't seem to know where the rest of him is going. His mother calls him a long, tall drink of water. Over 6 feet tall, lanky. His muscles haven't caught up with his bones, and those bones have just grown and grown. He's almost odd-looking. He has green eyes, like his father. Some of his friends call him the praying mantis, because he's so skinny and because he falls for girls, usually a few years older, who are known to devour boys. As he stands with his feet apart in the cemetery, he can see the skies. He's hoping to find a moon. Not a moon that anyone else has ever found, but one of his own, a moon that no one else knows is there. What will he name it? Maybe after a character in Star Wars? Han Solo? Luke Skywalker? Princess Leia? He's always surprised at the names given to the moons. Ganymede, Callisto, Ayakasti. So why not Star Wars? Miguel can never dream of discovering a galaxy, or a comet, or even a new planet somewhere deep in the Milky Way. That's for people who spend their lives with high-powered scopes fixed to the stars. But it's not out of the question for a boy to find a moon. Moons have long been a preoccupation of Miguel's. He's drawn to them more than he's drawn to other celestial bodies. Moons are manageable. You can stare at one, and it won't hurt your eyes. And they have low expectations. He prefers the cooler, reflected light to the burning stars. In this high desert where Miguel lives, the sun cracks his lips and makes his throat dry. Whenever possible, he seeks the shade. If he could, he'd be nocturnal. Miguel doesn't like his position, so he moves the telescope to the right until he's on firmer ground. Carefully, he sweeps the skies as he looks for Arcturus in the constellation of Boötes. It's one of the brightest stars. He feels certain that Arcturus has planets in its orbit, and he's sure that those planets must have moons. The universe interests him. He doesn't know why. Perhaps it's because each night when he steps out of his mother's trailer and stares at the sky, he wonders if there isn't a better life for him somewhere out there. When he was younger, he'd go outside to get away from his parents' fighting. He spent months trying to invent a device that would contact a spacecraft to come and get him. In his early teens, he went out to sneak a smoke, but since juvie, he just does it to watch. Miguel never cared that much about the earth sciences, but he cares about space. The first time he gazed through a lens, he saw a crater on the moon the size of Texas. He learned that the Earth could slip through the gap between the rings of Saturn. That's how big they are. His science teacher, Mr. Garcia, taught him to ask questions. Why is it that a supernova is in the same shape as a snail? Why does nature repeat its patterns? He ponders the three-body problem, trying to understand what keeps the Earth in its orbit. How is it that we keep spinning at all? For years, he wanted his own telescope, but knew he'd never be able to afford it. Then last year...